Hey Jensen, thank you for coming all the way to our office
Thank you
in
for
this
hosting me.
scorching heat.
Yeah, you gave me an AC car, so that's works.
So I think really excited to be having this conversation.
So I got into marketing quite by accident. I started with the hospitality industry. I wanted to make my career in that. Um, but unfortunately, I started 2 years before the recession hit in 2008, 2009, 2017. So rather than being hired, I got fired. So while searching for a job, a very close friend of mine named Franco Fernandez, who's now in Dubai, had his own HR consultant agency. So he said that there was this company that was looking for people to do their marketing, and since I could speak well, articulate well, and I had a flair for writing, he said, "Why don't you try it?" The company was Livia Legal. I got into it because he had obviously pulled some strings. But while I was there, I got a flair for that time. Marketing was writing a lot of stuff and creating a lot of content, so I liked it. So I did my MBA in marketing from there, and from there it just took off. And I've been fortunate enough to work with some of the biggest brands. I have launched Contiki with Darshan Maheshwari. I've worked with Komal Hiranandani, the daughter of Hiranandani, and with her I've had a chance to work on her NGO Soul Scout, which had a thrift store for Deepika Padukone, Alia Bhatt, Varun Dhawan. I got to meet Sunil Shetty as well during my journey, a very astute businessman. Besides being an amazing actor, I've got to work with Abhishan Pant, who launched the fintech movement in India, in one of the cashless man of India. A very hardcore disciplinarian and by the book person. And I call him my father in finance because he taught me everything I did. From there, I moved into creative with Cultivate Design and Deepak Peter, one of the most brilliant minds and creative people I've worked with, to now eShips, where I work with three of the most innovative individuals and down to earth, I must say, Shivadeep, Sashi, and Ajay. So that's been my journey. I stumbled into it basically, and I loved it. I grew into it, and now that's all I do for bread and butter. So I used to write for school. I used to write a lot for school. I used to be part of the dramatics and essays and all of that. I used to write for the church as well. So I had a flair for writing. I think I got that from my father. But I always like to talk to people. So I said, let's do hospitality because that's front facing. You talk to a lot of people, everybody. You talk to anybody and everybody. Unfortunately, a recession. And then I got into marketing. At that point in time, when I got into marketing in 2008, 2009, there was no Facebook marketing, Instagram marketing. It was writing pamphlets and creating those big news articles and all of that. So I started writing for that, and I realized that I could communicate very well in words. So I started writing a bit more, writing a bit more, writing a bit more. I started writing for newspapers as well, here and there. And I realized that I could, rather than speaking, I could write more better. No, I could write professionally, and I could communicate whatever I wanted in my mind in words. And from there, it just took off to where it is today.
Right.
So it's become it's good and bad in the sense it's become clustered. Like where earlier you had just maybe two or three brands launching one same product, now you've got 10 of them. So your buyer journey has become complex because now Rishabh has a choice of, even for coffee you've got like 8, 9, 10 brands. So that's become really complex. So it's become tough. At the same time, you have to be really innovative out there. Mobile marketing is right now in, and if you're not moving in that sphere, then you're going to be left behind. People like you and me, we spend, I think, statistically 6 to 7 hours on our mobile,
More
which
than
means, yeah,
that.
more
My
than,
data says more than that.
so that means quarter of your day is just gone on your mobile. So,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you pay for apps that you don't want ads, like you're paying for maybe YouTube Premium or you're paying for Netflix Premium or
Yeah.
Hotstar Premium. You don't want those ads. So how do I get to you? You're not going to watch TV. I don't know if you have. I don't have a TV at my place because I'm on either the laptop or on my phone. So I don't know if you do. So there's how do I reach you? You're not going to look at the billboards that are on the road. So mobile marketing is where it is, and that's where marketing has moved from where I started, where you had those pamphlets and you had those huge banners. I mean, if you've ever gone to Mumbai and you've gone to Reclamation, you'll see those huge billboards that one will have a movie, the next will have a product, then a car, then a software, something. Now you just have movies because movies everybody still sees, but that's where everything is on your mobile, and that's where marketing is moved. It's moved from writing to mobile, and unless you get onto that space, you're going to be left behind, and that's the most challenging part. And how do I get to your mobile when you've got like another 15, 20, 30 odd people trying to get into your space at that point in time?
Right.
it's a very vicious cycle. Once you start, you can't stop.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to spend because if you don't spend, I'm going to spend and I'll beat you. So that's it's kind of entrapment. I don't know if you've ever seen that. It's kind of entrapment where you start spending. Because you spend 10, I'm going to spend 11.
Yeah.
Because I spend 11, you're going to spend 12. And that's how
It's a race that only Google will win.
yeah. So Google, Facebook, Instagram, these guys are the winners in the end of the day.
Right.
But if you don't do it, you won't reach your consumers.
Yeah.
So and you're right. The marketing sphere has moved so much in such a short time. I think COVID also boosted that movement really fast because those who didn't adapt during that time were left behind. So in the word nutshell, that mobile marketing is an AI. Basically, that's where everything is. Gone are the days where people would read, huge pamphlets. The average attention span right now is less than 10 seconds, which means in 10 seconds, if I don't communicate my message to you,
Yeah.
you're going to press skip.
It's a consideration span, right? They'll consider you for 9-10 seconds. If you're not able to make a hook there, they'll leave you there.
You press the skip.
Yes.
That skip button is very was something that we marketers always hate because in 10 seconds, if you don't communicate, you have the option to skip. AI is the future. Okay, if you don't move with AI, you're going to be left behind. But how you use AI will determine whether it's your friend or your foe.
Right.
Okay. For example, now if you take a product, okay, if you're using ChatGPT, just go on ChatGPT, type Rishabh Butter, and say taglines for a product named Rishabh Butter. You will get functional taglines. Okay, they will not sell. If you use that, you know it's going to buy your product. But if you want to write an FAQ, you will spend a lot of time writing the FAQ, and whereas ChatGPT will give it to you in less than 2 minutes. So how you use that AI is more important. If you ask any marketer right now, if you want to write an FAQ, he would spend a lot of time writing that FAQ. It's a waste of time because it's just a functional thing. What a marketer wants to write is creativity, and an AI can't replace a human mind, at least for now, in terms of creativity. Because an AI will pick up on what's written before and all of that, and that's repetitive.
Right.
You don't want repetitive. You want something that's new, something. So at that point in time, AI, if you use AI, you're stifling your creativity, and that time it becomes your foe. But then again, marketing also resolves with data pockets in terms of data segmentation, in terms of audience segmentation, in terms of behavior patterns, in terms of understanding behavior, understanding what's next, what are their behavioral needs, what are they going to need. And if you have to have a team analyze all that, you need a huge team, which unfortunately the budgets for marketing are really constrained. So that's where AI helps you. So the perfect AI will be a marriage between AI and the human creative mind, because at the end of the day, an AI cannot replace the human creative mind, and creativity is what sells. If I have the Taste of India, I can bet any amount of my salary that no AI would have written that tagline. Okay, even right now, if you go to a shop, people don't ask for toothpaste; they ask for Colgate because it's cemented. Colgate, the brand, the way they pitched it. No AI would have come with those creative English lines, as they call it. Amul, the Taste of India, all that, and those lines are something that synonymously with us, and that will stay in our minds. And for something to come up with that, you need a human mind for that.
Right.
If you had an FAQ of your functionality, AI will work. If you had to change the data or read data points, AI would work. But you have to have that synchronicity. So AI is not a challenge. I would say AI is something, or it's not something that will pull the rug out of all of our jobs. If you can understand how to work with it, it will help you in building your entire arsenal. For example, for B2B writer industry, my target audience is a CEO or a CFO or a CIO, okay, or a VP or a senior VP. He is not going to be on Instagram checking out reels. He's not going to be on Facebook checking out reels. He's not going to be watching YouTube shorts. So how do I reach him? I got to reach him on his mobile through Economic Times, Business Standard, all of these apps, Money Control. Before this, where I was in Cultivate Design, I was doing art for FinTech Movement, for Nippon India Mutual, for Sol Scout, an NGO. Every audience was different, and that's where the difficulty lies in how do you reach that audience. If I have to reach a 65-year-old for insurance, if I put him a TikTok video, he's not going to stand. Hell no, he's not going to stand. If I have to reach you today and I send you one big pamphlet in a mail, all you're going to do is just chuck it. So understanding your audience and segmenting and reaching out and creating strategy for it, that's where the challenge lies. If I want to reach Rishabh, I know for a fact he's going to be on Instagram on Reels. He's going to be on Facebook. He's going to be probably on LinkedIn as well, networking and all that. Or he's going to be on YouTube, or he's going to have some app or some game that he's doing. I do not expect him to have go through these huge essays that I send him, or maybe a case study, or maybe some big blog or something, because it's not what he wants to do. He wants quick. He wants to know the result in 8 or 10 seconds. What will I give him? That's what he wants. If I write to someone who's 65, they probably want to know the ins and outs, the blueprint, the risk, and all of that. So that's how so every segment has its own pros and cons, and it's difficult to understand those buyers, but that's the challenge, and that's what makes marketing so exciting, because every industry has a different target segment.
Right.
Okay, every industry has a different geographic segment. For me, for example, right now for eShips, our software is geographically agnostic, which means I can talk to anybody in any country. Anybody can use me. So how do I communicate the same thing to different people who understand it differently? That's my challenge. Okay. For someone in India, what do I communicate? It can be used. We have customers in the Middle East. We have customers in the Far East. We have customers in USA. All of them think differently. So how do I? But I can't communicate the same thing differently. So how do I get that one line of communication to all of them?
Right.
So that's where the challenge lies.
Right.
Have you seen the recent Fevicol ad?
Which one? Sorry.
It had the sofa that went to different colors, written by Piyush Pandey, and it's Fevicol. The grandfather, or I think the great grandfather, gave this sofa, a two-seater, and it went through different generations. But there's an entire story about that furniture. It went through water, it went through this, it went through that. So Fevicol is something that you can just Google any ad of Fevicol, it resonates. I don't know if you've seen that ad where he's trying to break an egg, and because the chicken ate the feed from that Fevicol, the egg doesn't break. In fact, it makes a hole in a steel matka of water.
Right.
There are these two TVs where the actors holding on to the actors and saying, "Pakde rehna chodna nahi, pakde rehna chodna nahi," and the moment she lifts the Fevicol bucket, her hand slips. For the next TV, the Fevicol bucket is still there, she's still holding on there. So these are very well crafted ads, and this is what it's emotional, right? It's a very emotional ad. So for any content to be strong, it has to have three pockets. One, it has to be creative. It has to tell a story, and it has to tug on your emotion string. And that's where I find content, is more relevant. It's more powerful when you can check mark all these three boxes. If in 8 seconds you can communicate to Rishabh why he wants to buy it in the most amazing words and what he'll get out of it, it's a check mark.
Got it. And
Content creation, that's a tough question, because we use a lot of marketing tools, right? We use some for creation, some for managing, some for automation. So under creation, I have quick creation, I have Canva. For a more artistic creation, we use Photoshop. When it comes to content, now for example, being a SaaS company, we're more on the internet, so we need to have SEO. We need to understand what people are talking about. We need to have listens, so we use SEMrush. There's Google Analytics. There's Zoho automation we use. Also, again, since we're all based in different parts of the country, we use Slack to communicate with everybody. So what happens is we need to have these tools, and content creation is become you will give me some part, I will give you some part. If we're all marketing team, we're all based in different ways. So if you ask me to name one tool, there is no one tool that I can use to create content. I have to have different sets of things that we use. I have to buy Canva.
Yeah.
I have to spend on Photoshop to buy that license. I have to spend on Zoho to buy that automation.
Yeah.
So if you ask me for my budget, for example, if I give 100 rupees for my budget of content, my creating part would take almost 40 rupees.
Okay.
That goes in and let's say so 40% of my budget just on creating the ad. The remaining 40% would go on distributing the ad, and the remaining 20% would then go again on retargeting those people.
Yes.
So that's how your 100% goes, because for a major chunk, 40% would just go and creating that ad with all, you got the video software, you got to get pay for licenses, you got to, if you need a voiceover, you need to pay for that.
Right.
And then obviously Google charges you a lot. And if you're marketing on LinkedIn like we do, because we're a B2B company, LinkedIn is one of the most expensive platforms to market on. So another 40% of your budget goes there. And unfortunately, what happened with so many choices right now, I need to reach my target audience on multiple touch points, which means I need to retarget them again. So we've kept 20% of our budget to retarget them again. I would say any company that invests less than at least 50% increase on content creation is not going to reach their market, because content right now is king. Okay, how you write on your website, how you write in your newsletters, how you write on your post, how you even write in your what the content is in your WhatsApp and SMS. All of it
Right.
is determining whether you're going to be a success or not.
Right.
It will not, nothing else will determine your success rather than content, because um, I said the average span of someone saying whether yes or no is 10 seconds. If you cross the 10 seconds, then in the remaining 1 minute or 2 minutes that you give, an average read write of an article is 2.5 minutes. Anything more than that, then people are going to skip it. So you've got 2.5 minutes to get great content, and gone are the days where you could write pages upon pages. You have to have maybe 900,000 words at the max, and those 1,000 words have to be amazing. So you have to invest in content. There is no way that you can't invest in content, because content marketing is going to be key, not just now, but for any brand, at least in the coming next 5 to 10
Right.
years.
Right.
Marketing and for me, for personally, for all these years that I've done marketing is broken into two things. One is lead generation, one is pure brand building. Okay, if I'm doing brand building, I'm not going to expect an ROI, because I'm just building the brand. I want people to know about the brand. When I move to lead generation, that's when I want an ROI, because I'm spending so much to get these leads. Like my ex-boss Deepak had a very, and even right now Shiva and Sashi and Ajay, they have one very thing. I will give you 100 rupees to run these lead generation campaigns. You get me 100 rupees and 101 back in revenue. So I can give you 101 again. The law of diminishing returns, basically. So that's where how difficult it is. It is difficult. It is very difficult to measure ROI, because on one hand you want to build a brand, on one hand you want your marketing to also get leads. So unfortunately there are a lot of tough decisions to make, because the spends have gone down, right? People earlier, when they wanted a Ferrari, they were spending for a Ferrari. Now they're giving me money for a Swift and saying I want a Ferrari. So you are expecting 10x ROI. So how do I manage that? Is content. Okay, I know for the fact that if my content is right, and how and my audience segmentation is right, the leads will come in. Um, that's where it the ROI will be measured, because I can't really put a number onto it, because can we do this again? If you don't
Yeah. Yeah.
mind?
Please.
Uh, can you ask your question again?
Yeah. Cool.
Going back, content is king, right? There's no question about it. How do I build an ROI on that? I need to analyze how much we invest on content, because content is quite a heavy investment with the tools, with people writing. For example, paper content. If you engage with paper content, obviously there's a cost for using the platform. There's a cost for the freelancer. How do we get the ROI? That is measurable only by the amount of leads that come in. How do I generate the leads? Is by having the best content. So it's a very
Chicken and egg.
chicken and egg problem. Yeah. So how do I measure it? In a very simple way. If I've spent 100 rupees, I need 101 rupees back.
Okay.
Okay. If I've spent X amount, I need to justify that by getting X amount back. That depends on what exercise I'm doing. If I'm doing lead generation, then I know I need to do it. If I'm doing brand building, I believe that if you're doing brand building, I'm not going to get leads, because I'm just building the brand. I will get some leads, but my thing is to reach the most amount of audience, just to know my brand is existing. So if I look at lead generation, yes, I have to measure ROI, and that's what I measured based on how much of investment is there. If I invest so much, I expect so much, and that depends on how much conversion and leads are coming. As you said, right, it compounds. The more you spend on content and the more you spend on getting that content out there, the more leads come in.
Right.
Okay, the more people read your content, the more well written it is. For example, right now behind us is every company is a content company. It's a fact. Okay, the most amazing. If you talk about Amul and you talk about all these big brands, you remember their content, the taste of India. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. All of these are content pieces, and the brand doesn't stick with you. I don't remember. I think De Beers or Diamonds are a girl's best friend. I don't remember. I remember the saying.
Yes.
Right? So content sticks with you. Once content stays in your mind, it doesn't go out. So that's where I think it's more important for any company to put in that content is uh, where you're going to get more revenue from, because the more better your content is, the more apt it is, the more productive it is, the more articulate it is, the more creative it is, people are going to stay back with you. Don't jump here, there, everywhere. Okay, that's one of the main things about marketing is once you're there, learn it for a while before you take your next leap, and take that risk. Okay, right? You never know when that next idea comes from you, so don't give up. Or keep pushing yourself, because marketing is a tough field. Okay, there's a lot of people who think they're great marketers out there. There's a lot of people who want to be great marketers out there, but there are very few people who make it into great marketing. And if you want to do that, you got to stick to it day in and day out. You can't get up and say, you know what, go from this company, that company, this company, because you don't get a chance to acclimate yourself to that one content piece and then move on and then use that content. Content can be used anywhere. You just need to know how to use it. But if you don't keep yourself there for a while and understand how to use content, it's not going to work out.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, that's my thing.